Keenan here with Exterior Cleaning Solutions. Today I'm actually washing a Chevy dealership in Steubenville, Minnesota. I wanted to show you guys kind of the process that I use based off the manufacturer's recommendations from Alucobond. These are aluminum bonded panels. That's why they call them Alucobond. Basically, what you're gonna do is you're gonna pre-wet the surface and get rid of any loose debris, a lot of dust and stuff in the air, pollen, etc. Pre-wet the surface, give it a good rinse, and then you go through and you apply Mirachem 500 is what's recommended by Alucobond. So I use that through a downstream injector. I go through and I put a nice light coat on there since the surface is already wet, and then I go through and I start scrubbing it. What I use for scrubbing, this is actually just a T-mop, typically used for washing windows. I have a couple spare mops, just because over time these will get some debris built up in there. The whole purpose is you want to brush that surface, but it can't be anything abrasive or catch anything that's abrasive, because that'll scratch those panels, especially the blue. That's a glossy. There's different types of finishes when it comes to these Alucobond. You need to be careful, you need to identify the surface, and you need to follow the manufacturer's recommendation. Today we're just using, it's a brush finish, the silver section is brushed, and then the blue is actually a gloss blue. It's got a clear coat on top of it. So anyways, you go through, you apply the Mirachem 500, and then I'll go through with the soft brush and I'll scrub. Okay, this is a 12-foot zero carbon pole. Works for most areas. Once I get to the front here, I need a longer reach. If I use my water fed pole system, this will get me up to 35 feet. I also have an attachment to put that T-mop on there if need be. When I go to rinse, it's a beautiful day out, so a lot of bikes out. I go and I use my water fed pole system. So this is 100% pure water. So it takes all the sediment, everything. It's going to leave you with a spot-free rinse. So after I go through, I scrub everything, give it a good rinse, and then follow through with the pure water rinse. Couple tricks you want to make sure to follow the sun. This building faces west, so fortunately the sun came up behind me. I went and did the south side first, because as the sun comes around, these panels will heat up and you'll end up baking. If you let that chem sit on there for too long, or if it dries on there, anything might happen just from the heat. You'll end up with water spots or even some stains that you won't be able to remove. So you got to be really careful. Work in small sections, scrub everything. The one nice thing about my downstream setup is I actually have a remote injector bypass system from Smart Bypass. This is a huge game saver. I can hit the chem button. It turns the ball valve for me. It forces chem through my injector. And then that allows me to apply the soap where I need it. And then when I'm ready to start rinsing, after I do my scrubbing, I just hit the rinse, and I go and I can hit those windows right away. Any other surface that gets contact with a solution or chem, we can rinse that off right away too. Typically, if you had like a new asphalt or anything like that, you want to make sure to get all that chem out of there. You pre-wet the surface. You don't want any soap or anything like that sitting on asphalt because it will stain it. So now that I kind of gave you the lowdown on washing, I'm going to show you how easy it is. You know, between having shooter tips and everything else, remote bypass, water fed pole system, the T-mop, and using the right chems, this dusty, kind of dingy looking surface ends up popping. So it looks beautiful once it's done. So all right, so this is sped up now. We're going to go through and we're going to rinse, get in between the cracks really good. There's a lot of dust and dirt that gets built up in there. And then once you have everything pre-rinsed and pre-wet, cools down the surface, it's time to soap it down good. You're going to go through, get a nice coat on everything. Once it's soaped up, you give it a couple minutes to dwell, and then you start scrubbing. With this here, as I mentioned, I'm just using a T-mop. This is not very abrasive. It just gives a nice little scrub. Areas that are tough, or else, for example, like the signs here, I use the boar's head brush for my water-fed pole system. Making sure that the soap doesn't dry or anything.
Every so often you might have to take a little break from the brushing and pre-wet the surface or start rinsing in areas you've already scrubbed. And then once you're done scrubbing, you're going to start rinsing from the top, work your way down. There's a lot of cracks and crevices that'll actually now hold some soap. So it takes a ton of rinsing, and you'll know when you're done rinsing once you stop seeing bubbles coming through. After that, rinse a heck of a lot more, because the more you rinse, the better off the final product is going to be.